Apparently the tantrums did not stop for Christmas. Trump did spread them around, though. He was generous to quite a few people, a good number of targets, such as Chinese soldiers. Yes, what did he want with them? We'll tell you. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, probably jealous about his hair. I can see why. Sleepy Joe Biden and the left, as well as Biden's predecessor, Barack Obama. He made 34 posts in, I believe it was an hour, 60 minutes, 34 posts. It was just incredible. It might be a record, might not be. And we're going to get to the verbatim on this, Cenk, but were you, I guess, shocked to learn Trump was spending time on Truth Social instead of, I mean, he held up the upside down Bible, praying at church, maybe Christmas caroling, that kind of thing. He's always talking about Christianity and the like, hanging out with his beloved children. Barron just graduated, and even more time with the kiddos and the grandkids.
Okay, first of all, people say I tweet a lot. 34 an hour, Jesus Lord mercy,
it's
okay? Secondly, so look, I live in a glass house. I also did some posts over Christmas, so I can't criticize too much on that. But to me, the most interesting part of this, Sharon, is that is his combination of like, being kind of jovial in a sense, kidding around, trolling, etc., and like saying things that previously would have be considered insane, super harsh, like deeply concerning. But I think one of the real things we got to discuss after you tell us what he said is, like, what are we to do with comments like this going forward now that we know Trump a little bit better? So tell us what he said and then we'll go over it.
Yeah, and hopefully that's rhetorical, because when we get into this, it's bananas, but it's Trump, we should say. Okay, so first up, he started off great. Merry Christmas to all, including to the wonderful soldiers of China who are lovingly but illegally operating the Panama Canal, where we lost 38,000 people in its building 110 years ago. Always making certain that the United States puts in billions of dollars in repair money, but will have absolutely nothing to say about anything. Okay, so that was on Truth Social. Trump has vowed, of course, in recent days to take back the Panama Canal. He cites ridiculous shipping fees as part of his issue there. He calling them ridiculous, which probably means he has some kind of personal financial connection to something. Something got caught up, cost him maybe a few coins, or he didn't make quite enough. Next up, he attacked Canada's prime minister, the one with the good hair, and the people of Greenland too. So let's read you that. Also to Governor, you see what he does here, Justin Trudeau of Canada, whose citizens' taxes are far too high, but if Canada was to become our 51st state, their taxes would be cut by more than 60%. Their businesses would immediately double in size, and they would be militarily protected like no other country anywhere in the world. Likewise to the people of Greenland, which is needed by the United States for national security purposes, and who want the US to be there, and we will. Okay. So those two, and then there's this one. He went after, of course, Joe Biden, who's got 20 some days left. You leave the guy alone. He's trying to go on vacation with his family. And to the left, here was Trump's Christmas message to them. Again, he starts off great. Merry Christmas to the radical left lunatics that he gets right after it, who are constantly trying to obstruct our court system and our elections, and are always going after the great citizens and patriots of the United States, but in particular, their political opponent, me. They know that their only chance of survival is getting pardons from a man who has absolutely no idea what he is doing. And then just before Christmas, this was what really got him upset. Joe Biden pardoned 37 out of 40 federal death row prisoners, commuted their sentences rather. So they're now life without parole. Trump ended what seemed to be his most passionate Christmas message on that this way. Also to the 37 most violent criminals who killed, raped, plundered like virtually no one before them, but were given incredibly a pardon by sleepy Joe Biden. I refuse to wish a Merry Christmas to those lucky souls, but instead will say, go to hell. We had The greatest election in the history of our country. A bright light is now shining over the USA, and in 26 days, we will make America great again. Merry Christmas. And then let's put up the last thing, because even though he's not in office, hasn't been for a number of years, he posted this meme of Barack Obama, okay? Because mocking one US president is never enough. This is from the 2017 inauguration of one Donald Trump, smirking. And you see the caption, when you see the guy who said you'll never be president at your inauguration. Now, again, we have to be honest here in saying that this is the greatest, perhaps it just is the greatest political comeback in American history. This guy who was completely out of it is back in. He won, he did it. We could argue about the numbers, blah, blah, blah. And he just can't stop and smell the roses. I would think this would be his greatest Christmas ever. What say you, Cenk?
Yeah, no, he's an interesting cat. Like, he can't stop himself from anything.
Yeah.
And so, but it's on us to discern what's real and what's not real. So some of the stuff we're used to, Merry Christmas to the radical left lunatics, is a classic. He rolls it out every year. It's like me and the kids watched Elf again, because it's a classic. Around this time of year, we get wished Merry Christmas by Donald Trump as the radical left lunatics, etc. And then his huffing and puffing over Greenland and Panama and Canada. I'm now a tiny bit worried about. Before, I wasn't worried about it at all as late as last week. But I began to realize, like, he might be thinking, hey, Russia took some land, Israel's taking land. Maybe will be a greater president if I could take land, because he thinks of it in terms of real estate. And then there's the hilarious parts, like on Greenland, and who want the US to be there. Like, the people of Greenland, he asserts, want us to take over Greenland. Who asked them? When did they say that? Is there a poll on it? He just loves to make stuff like that up. I do wonder, I really do, with the right wing. Like, what percentage go, well, of course I know he's making up that Greenland wants to be part of America. He's just trolling you guys. And what percentage think, oh, I bet they do, especially if Trump asked them. Yeah, I'm positive Greenland wants to be part of America. I mean, who wouldn't, right? So I don't know, but I find it very unlikely that he is going to invade Panama, Greenland, or Canada, and if he did, though, it would break the land speed record on irony. Anti-war, we're definitely anti-war, anti-war. I mean, we're gonna invade Panama, Greenland, and Canada, but we're anti-war. So, but still, enormously unlikely, right?
I wonder, though, if you're Justin Trudeau, who I believe went down to Mar-a-Lago, right, and said, let me just olive branch, let's see if we can get along. And then 10 minutes later, you're calling him governor and saying that his people are overtaxed and he can cut them by 60%. I mean, how do you even handle someone like this? You can't exactly ignore him as he talks about tariffs and all this other nonsense. You have to deal with him, but I mean, what do you do when he says something like this? Just ignore it? The media in Canada reacting. How do you handle this guy?
Well, there's two different things, right? Like, so let's assume non-representative of a country for a second. So, like, if I went to Mar-a-Lago, I'd go talk to Trump. I know that everybody's heads would explode. But I would expect that afterwards he's going to call me names, because this is not my first rodeo. So, like, if you catch feelings over that, you're not getting it. Right? The only way he doesn't call you names is unless you grovel and say, oh, I would love to be your governor and I hand over Canada right away, right? Mm-hmm. So that's as usual. Or like you've made a deal that he likes for whatever reason. But if you're the leader of a different country, Sharon, obviously it's much, much harder, because as a regular citizen or member of the media or whatever, you can just ignore it, right? Or laugh at it. But so you don't want to piss off the president of the United States, no matter who it is, too much if you're Canada. So what I would do if I was him is I'd have my sense of what I'm going to do. I'm going to do X or I'm going to do Y, right? And I'm not going to get moved off of it. So as the leader of Canada. So then at that point, I know how much to push Trump, how much not to push Trump, and I know where my red lines are. And if he crosses a red line, I would then act appropriately, and we'd go tit for tat on tariffs, probably something economic, and I would buckle up and brace for impact, right? because if you get into this significant conflict with Trump, in terms of words or finance, etc., you definitely got to buckle up. He's going to want to win that. He's going to do weird things, etc. And so you can't just willy-nilly walk into it. On the other hand, if he asks you for things that you can't give as the leader of a country, then don't give it, right? And that's life in the big city. And you wind up having this new person, and you're gonna have to find a way to deal with him. And I don't envy them. It's a tough job. But Sharon, I also thought it was interesting how he framed the Chinese. They're wonderful soldiers who are illegally operating the Panama Canal, but lovingly. So to me, that says, I don't really want to get into a fight with China too much right now. I don't know if it's Elon Musk's business interests or Trump's business interests, or if he's got something else in mind, etc. But that was noteworthy, because the left is radical left lunatics, but the Chinese are wonderful soldiers who are doing things illegally but lovingly. So that's a note of concern. And lastly, look, if all he did was huff and puff to renegotiate some of the bills around the Panama Canal, sure, God bless, who cares, right? And in fact, that might be positive if he got us to pay a little bit less if we're not getting enough. But Sharon, my sense of it is that he's largely not going to do 90% of this, that he's mainly showing to his own base, I'm standing up for America, and I'll push around other countries, I'll push around the left, I'll push around Joe Biden, I'll push around anyone to show you that we're America first. So it's mainly just optics.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's just this, it's a case study, really. We need the best profilers on him of just this enormous chaotic word salad. It's just, these are just words, artful at times, really funny sometimes, but it's just thriving on chaos. That's why I laugh at some of my MAGA associates who say, oh, well, he's going to do this, and the bankers on Wall Street love him. I said, no, they don't. They don't. I mean, they might love both parties because they're empowered by both parties, but doesn't Wall Street like non-chaos? They like stability. They like to know where things are headed so they can make the most money and rip everybody off. But that's just me.
Yeah.
We'll move on to, no, you have something else, Cenk, you want to say?
No, just real quick. The bankers on Wall Street loving Trump is not a great case for Trump. Like, if I was MAGA, I wouldn't go around bragging about that. Right? I think that the bankers love the politicians who give them everything they want. Yes, definitely both Democrats and Republicans. And so, look, we're all waiting on pins and needles to see what Trump is going to do. Because is he really going to do the things that some of the populists on the right want? That would be very surprising. And are they going to catch feelings when he doesn't? Or are they just going to be like, yeah, no, we meant war with Panama and Greenland. That's what we voted for. If they say that, wow.
They probably will. I think they will.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Marjorie Taylor Greene's not going to say that. Come on.
Oh, some will. Oh, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure some will, right?
Yeah.
But let's see. I mean, I don't think he's going to do that, right? But whenever he does something insane like that, it's going to be super interesting to see how the populist right reacts.
I mean, look what we're talking about here. This is incredible.
If the president invades Panama, that's the conversation.
Panama and this stuff. And just leave Trudeau alone. He's going through his own stuff.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks. We really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.